Greetings and salutations. Today we'll be covering the mysterious murder of Todd McAfee. In the summer of 1986, Todd McAfee, a 26-year-old man, would assume the role of manager of a remote 300-acre tomato farm situated off of Route 70, near the secluded town of Miaca City, Florida. The farm was the property of the esteemed Bonita Packing Company. It must be noted that Todd resided in a company trailer right on the farm's premises, which also served as his office. He was known for his unwavering dedication and his extensive expertise in farming. It was noted that Todd took an immense pleasure in his work. Additionally, he possessed a deep passion for firearms, along with having amassed a valuable collection of said firearms, often engaging in target practice behind his residence. It was the morning of August 18th, 1987, a morning like any other for the farm's laborers who would arrive at 6:30 a.m., anticipating the customary unlocking of the gate by Todd. However, much to their astonishment, Todd was nowhere to be found, leaving them puzzled and rather stranded. Shortly thereafter, Adam Williams, Todd's assistant, arrived on scene and had to take it upon himself to grant the laborers access to the property. It must be noted that Adam too was taken aback by Todd's absence, as Todd typically unlocked the gate well before the laborers' arrival. Drawing closer to the trailer, Adam observed Todd's truck parked conspicuously in front of his own car. This would be a departure from Todd's routine of parking behind said vehicle. This deviation struck Adam as peculiar and highlighted his concerns for Todd's well-being. As minutes ticked away, there would be no sign of Todd emerging. Due to this, Adam decided to investigate the trailer, hoping to uncover any clues that might elucidate the mysterious circumstances. Upon entering, Adam's gaze fell upon two empty handgun cases strewn haphazardly on the floor, a sight that left the man rather perplexed. It became evident to him that Todd's prized gun collection had been tampered with. Furthermore, the absence of the answering machine's tape caught Adam's attention. Although the tape itself was missing, the still spinning spindles implied recent activity. Concerned by these unusual findings, Adam promptly turned off the answering machine and attempted to preserve any potential evidence. 2 hours later, the mystery surrounding Todd McAfee deepened as another employee of the farm stumbled upon a bag of groceries nestled on the front seat of Todd's truck. It was evident that these groceries were abandoned, and they were able to find out that they were left overnight. Intriguingly enough, there was a recently rented videotape resting alongside the groceries, adding yet another level of intrigue into the unfolding mystery. Curiously enough, the keys were found to still be in the truck's ignition, which made the fact that Todd was missing significantly more ominous. However, the most chilling discovery lay in the bed of the pickup. A pair of blood-stained eyeglasses were found. Said eyeglasses were unmistakably Todd's. Simultaneously, approximately 2 miles away from the farm, a group of laborers went on to look for water for their overheated truck. However, to their utmost horror, in the midst of their pursuit, they would stumble upon a ghastly sight: the lifeless body of Todd McAfee. 4 rounds had been mercilessly deposited in his body, and said body was left in a ditch, discarded. Investigators swiftly concluded that Todd's demise had occurred at the hands of a .22 caliber firearm with hollow point bullets. Evident splatters of blood adorned the nearby sand, offering a chilling testament to the potential site of the slaying. Perplexingly, it seemed that at least 2 individuals had participated in the heinous act, as they had initially lain Todd's body on the sand before moving it again and depositing it in the ditch. Astonishingly enough, the locals were well aware of that particular ditch, which harbored a fearsome resident. It was a monstrous 15-foot gator, which lurked in the murky depths of the ditch. Speculation quickly swirled that the perpetrators had hoped that the ravenous creature would devour the remains of their victim, concealing the evidence within its formidable jaws. Yet fate seemed to have intervened, as the remains were discovered before the macabre plan could reach its crescendo. Perturbed by the chilling discoveries, diligent investigators meticulously scoured the crime scene, unveiling an array of footprints which were left in the soil. Determined to unearth any potential leads, all of Todd's employees were subjected to intense interrogation, along with having their shoes documented. However, this painstaking scrutiny failed to yield any definitive matches, leaving the investigators bereft of clues. In addition to the blood-stained spectacles, another disconcerting revelation awaited them within Todd's truck, in which they found a vacant gun case, attesting to the vanishing of yet another one of his cherished firearms. Furthermore, throughout the search of his trailer, investigators dawned on an unsettling truth. The entirety of Todd's prized gun collection, comprising of an assortment of handguns, rifles, and shotguns, had been mercilessly plundered. To compound the inexplicable vanishing of these valuable possessions, a VCR and several cameras were also amongst the items which had been taken. Investigators couldn't help but surmise that Todd's life had been ruthlessly extinguished due to the allure of the firearms he possessed. As time went on, the perplexing saga surrounding Todd McAfee deepened, as investigators unearthed vital clues within his grocery bags. This was an inconspicuous receipt. This slip of paper proved to be an invaluable piece of evidence, providing a crucial time frame for Todd's tragic demise. The time of his untimely death was pinpointed to be within the window between the hours of 6:30 and 7 p.m. As the investigation delved deeper into the chronology of events, a series of chilling encounters came to light. Approximately at 6:15 on the fateful day of August 17th, two acquaintances of Todd passed by his desolated trailer, unaware of the calamity which awaited their friend. Their attention, however, was drawn to an unmistakable presence, a vibrant orange-colored van, ominously stationed adjacent to Todd's dwelling. With their curiosity piqued, they recalled getting the glimpse of the same vehicle earlier during the day at a nearby gas station. It was there that an unsuspecting customer had engaged in a conversation with one of the van's female occupants. However, this encounter would take a sinister turn as the male companion emerged from the store and supposedly subjected the woman to a vicious onslaught of violence before coercing her back into the van. Another male figure swiftly followed suit, and the trio hastily departed, leaving an indelible imprint upon the witness's memory. To delve further into this enigmatic occurrence, the investigators resorted to an unconventional method: hypnosis. Under the trance-like influence, the witnesses managed to summon forth a heightened level of recollection, providing an intricately detailed description of the ominous van and its occupants. Building upon these unsettling revelations, investigators pieced together a haunting narrative for Todd's final moments. They postulated that on the fateful night of August 17th, a meticulously planned ambush had befallen Todd, orchestrated by the very individuals associated with the orange van. It was surmised that Todd, upon discovering the violation of his trailer, had fallen prey to the burglars. The tire tracks etched into the confines of his driveway hinted at a frantic race as Todd recklessly sped towards his violated sanctuary. Sadly, it was within the confines of that forsaken place where he would meet his tragic end, as bullets pierced his vulnerable form as he ventured out from his truck. He had been ruthlessly silenced by yet unseen hands. His lifeless body would be casually returned to the sanctuary of his vehicle, which was used to transport him to his final resting place, a desolate ditch where his remains were unceremoniously discarded. Haunted by the unresolved enigma of Todd's demise, his anguished family sought solace by offering the substantial reward of $5,000 for any information that would lead to a potential arrest, or for the identities of their beloved son's killer or killers. As investigators pursued leads, attempting to find the chilling motive which fueled the untimely demise of Todd McAfee, they came to a conclusion. The most likely scenario was his valuable gun collection, which seemed to lay at the heart of the tragedy. A palpable sense of greed seemed to hang over the case's motive, as investigators surmised that the ill-fated firearms seemed to hold an illicit allure which enticed the perpetrators to orchestrate Todd's demise. The clandestine fate of these firearms loomed ominously, pointing to two unsettling possibilities: their concealment in the clutches of the killer or killers would lead to further deaths, or that their clandestine sale possibly left them far removed from the reaches of of the county's investigators. As investigators sought to decipher the identity of the assailants, their gaze turned inwards, casting suspicion upon individuals who knew Todd, locals who traveled in the same circles as him. However, in the absence of concrete evidence, the landscape remained bereft of suspects. Said lack of suspects was a disconcerting void which only fueled the flames of uncertainty about the case ever reaching a conclusion. Amidst the labyrinth of investigation, the tireless investigators set their sights on the trio of shadowy figures. Elusive suspects who had emerged. These were the men and woman who had been part of the gas station incident. It must be noted that at one point, as chaos ensued and the woman's brutal assault, the perpetrator is noted to have stated, "What are you trying to do? Get us in trouble?" Then abruptly, another man, nicknamed Runt, embarked on a swift escape as the ominous orange van chillingly materialized next to Todd's trailer that very same night. The elusive van itself emerged as a pivotal piece of evidence in the ever-evolving puzzle. It was identified as a relic of the mid to late 1970s. The eyewitness who had encountered its occupants was drawn to the haunting sight. They spotted what they believed to be an automatic weapon, ominously hinting at the occupants' panache for violence. Amongst the ranks of these enigmatic figures, Rob emerged standing at an approximate 5'8", weighing in at 180 pounds. A light brown growth of beard seemed to adorn his face, complementing his curly, sandy brown hair. Apparently, the passage of time had etched marks of his journey upon his face, marking him as being in his early to mid-30s, along with having a distinctive tattoo depicting the form of an eagle upon his left arm. Beside him stood Runt, towering between 6 foot tall and 6 foot 2, bearing defining features such as a mustache, a slender frame, straight shoulder-length brown hair. The last of the trio, the woman, stood at an approximate 5'5" or 5'6", her frame appearing to be quite fragile. Supposedly, she emitted an aura of vulnerability. She had a cascade of light brown hair, or potentially dark blonde, shoulder-length hair, which framed her visage. As the observers had been fixated upon her, their gaze had been drawn to a glimmering golden necklace adorning her neck, with the letters R and B etched upon its surface. A minuscule diamond seemed to have been nestled within the leg of the letter R, which was a subtle mark of distinction which could potentially aid investigators in identifying the perpetrators. In a perplexing twist, a significant breakthrough would emerge in July 1989, when an arrest led to investigators recovering a stolen .30 caliber plain-sealed semi-automatic rifle, which was pilfered from Todd's very own trailer. The arrested individual divulged that Wilbur M. Anderson had lent him the firearm and sold him a Winchester 12-gauge shotgun, both of which had originated from Todd's prized collection. Wilbur was noted to be a former employee of Todd's farm, faced with the repercussions of his illicit activities as he was charged and convicted for dealing in stolen property. However, the elusive threads linking him to Todd's murder remained strenuous at best, leaving the case unresolved at that time. The plot thickened even further when in 1991, an incarcerated inmate by the name of Jacob Wesley Scott provided a chilling testimony which would send shockwaves throughout the investigation, which implicated Todd's housekeeper, who was coincidentally Wilbur's wife, Ruthie Mae Anderson. Scott claimed that she had confided in him, revealing her involvement in the burglary of Todd's trailer. Driven by the allure of money and firearms, Ruthie believed that Todd had safeguarded the payroll for the farm, along with his firearms, within the very walls of his trailer. Supposedly, she, along with her husband and another accomplice, descended upon the trailer, their intentions only veering into the realm of murder, as Todd inadvertently had stumbled upon their criminal activities. Struggling against a maelstrom of uncertainty, investigators unearthed the crucial clues that could cast further illumination on the chilling events which unfolded on that fateful night. The elusive orange van, which was seen lurking ominously near Todd's residence, eventually materialized within the confines of a Mississippi junkyard. An unsettling revelation surfaced as the owner of the junkyard disclosed that none other than Wilbur himself was the one who had sold the van. This chilling connection to the crime breathed new life into the investigation. In October 1994, 41-year-old Ruthie was apprehended and charged with Todd's murder. The hopes of the investigators soared as they anticipated a confession which would unmask the identities of her co-conspirators. Unfortunately, their expectations would be dashed as Ruthie remained resolute in her silence. This, added with Jacob's recantation of his testimony, led to the dropping of charges against Ruthie, resulting in her release. Wilbur would eventually be entangled in an unrelated robbery and convicted. However, he would eventually regain his freedom in 1996. To this day, speculation around Ruthie and Wilbur's involvement remain prominent within those who are attempting to solve the case. Currently, their whereabouts remain shrouded in mystery. It is believed that Ruthie found some form of refuge in the depths of Mississippi, while Wilbur is believed to reside somewhere within Alabama. As it stands, the case is officially unresolved. Intriguingly, investigators have turned their gaze upon the residents of Arcadia as a potential wellspring of information. This is due to many of Todd's workers hailing from this very community, believing it to be a potential nexus of information. A glimmer of hope still flickers in the potential recovery of Todd's firearms. Yet, amidst this labyrinthian quest for justice, Todd's mother, Mary Alice, would unfortunately pass before justice had been served for the slaying of her son. If you have remained with me until the end, I thank you, and I do hope you stay tuned and subscribe for more content.